Hello everybody, Jeff Siegel here. Today I want to talk about a fantastic article that was just released that is called, a multi-scale inflammatory map linking individual stress to societal dysfunction. Now, I love this article because it ties together something that I've been talking about for many years and something that I think we all kind of feel intuitively, and that is we live in a world that is under stress. And we feel that at the personal, individual level, but we also feel this at the planetary level when we look out there and we see climate calamities, we see war, we see unraveling democracies, we see all sorts of things that are kind of cueing us to this feeling of being stressed out. Right? And so what these authors have done is actually built a mathematical model to link the individual to the societal to the global ways in which these are all interrelated. And so imagine this, right? You feel a little bit stressed out. Well, guess what? Stress is the body's normal, natural, and needed response, right, to deal with life's challenges. When something unexpected happens, you feel a little bit of stress, and that helps mobilize resources so you can deal with that challenge, rise to the occasion. So we know short-term stress is important. Long-term stress, what we would call chronic stress, right, can have a really detrimental impact on your body and your well-being. Right? Long-term stress leads to inflammation in the body by altering hormones, by disrupting sleep, by changing a lot of the ways in which our nervous system reacts. And ultimately what this does is this impacts our brain. And so when our brain is being impacted and feeling a little bit stressed, right, what happens? You're not in the best of moods, right? You have a short temper, right? You feel a little bit more irritable. You're not going to make very good decisions. You're going to be a little bit less polite and nice to the people around you, right? This is the real world impact of stress in our bodies. And so what happens is, right, when me as an individual is stressed chronically, I'm not behaving and showing up at my best. Well, that means that the people around me are not getting a very good version of Jeff, right? I'm being grumpy, right? I'm saying things that aren't very thoughtful, right? I am not showing up, right, in a good capacity. And what does that do? That makes these people stressed, right? I'm projecting things. I'm dumping my stress on them, and that makes them stressed. And now guess what? We've gone from one person being stressed to a bunch of people being stressed. So you can see how this begins to balloon and spread through a community, through a society. And this happens intrapersonally through interactions. It definitely also happens online, right? Through social media, through news. All right, these are some of the other things I've talked about in which we are bombarding our nervous systems with all this constant negative narratives. And this also keeps us in a state of stress. And this also helps spread that stress, right, to a collective level. And so now when we have a community that's stressed and a society that's stressed, all right, guess what? This then spreads to the planet. It happens through individual actions playing out at a large role, right? If you're the CEO of a company and you're really stressed and you're showing up to your meeting and you're saying, F it, I don't really care about trying to reduce pollution, so I'm just going to choose this option, or you're mean to the other people, or you say, you know what, I don't want to support higher wages to support my workers, I care more about this, right? You're making all of these decisions from more of a survival-based motive, all right, because you're stressed out, right? These have real-world implications that might impact the environment, might impact other people, might impact, how the global events are undergoing, right? And so there's this perception now that the world itself is stressed out, right? That the planet is experiencing inflammation, which then fuels more stress and more inflammation back at the individual level. So we've created this cycle of stress that spreads individual to individual, community to society, society to planet, and then from the planet right back to us through the food that we eat, through the media that we consume, right? And so it's so important that we can begin to see this whole picture because we are all living here on this planet where we are one ecosystem, right? We are all both individuals, but we are part of this larger whole, and we need to understand how stress and inflammation can play out in all of these domains, right? And I love this article, and I will put it into the notes of the video so you can take a look for yourself. You can read, you can take a look at their models and maps. I think it's a really brilliant, but it's also really important because it calls for this one systems level thinking where we can begin to see these different pieces interacting. It's a very integral, holistic approach, right? And it begins to generate this feeling of common humanity that is so necessary, and that we need to take care of ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for our community and for our planet. And we need to take care of our planet because that impacts all of these other lower levels as well. All right? And so what can we do? Well, think about the things that are within your control, right? Things like feeding yourself food that doesn't cause inflammation, right? Can you avoid ultra-processed things that ultimately actually contribute to inflammation, contribute to stress, contribute to poor decisions, to brain fog, and to not showing up at your best? That's one extremely important piece, right? Can you do things like protect your sleep or limit your media consumption or find ways to manage it that it isn't throwing you into this stress response so that you aren't chronically inflaming your mind and your body by consuming things that actually are putting you into this place of stress, right? And now this isn't to bypass the issues of the world. This is actually to begin to disrupt the cycle of stress and inflammation that is fueling, all right, societal dysfunction. Right? And so I think this is an important message. I really, really love the level of thinking that this article was trying to bring, and it really, for me, hits home because this is the level of thinking that I bring to my coaching when I'm trying to help you understand why are you showing up the way you do? Why are you making suboptimal decisions? How can we help you make better decisions? All right, and so much of it comes to taking better care of your body, but also recognizing, all right, all of these intertwined pieces that this has to do with you as an individual, but also has to do with your community and the planet as a whole. And when we begin to see all these pieces, we get a more comprehensive map of what's going on. And that's so important for understanding the challenges so that we can begin to intervene, take control, all right, re-empower ourselves to live lives that are not only nourishing, healthy, and supportive of our own well-being, but nourishing, healthy, and supportive of the well-being of our planet and our communities. So until next time, Jeff Siegel here. Breathe, smile, and notice, are you contributing to planetary stress and inflammation, or are you disrupting the cycle and taking care of the pieces of the well-being that you can?